I am Professor Marius Smit. I'm a professor in Education Law. That is my speciality at the Northwest University. Now, the BELA bill has come a long route already since 2017. And in 2017, I made written submissions, and we know thousands of written submissions were made because it is such an important issue. We all want the education system to function optimally, but there are some things that will regress the education system, take it backwards, and there are many clauses here, many amendments that are good and that I support. So I'm not against the whole BELA bill. That the function that is now with the school governing body to finally decide on an admission policy or language policy is now taken away. The final decision is now with the head of department to approve. He must approve the admission policy and language policy. Yes, Mr. Ndlebe did explain it must be in consultation, but that is where the problem is. If we look at the history, what has happened in South Africa, and please, Parliamentary Committee, really, I plead with you, this should not just be a paper exercise in which we just tick a box, yes, we did public participation, and there are 1,000 people. This is really a very important issue that you must apply your minds to and be honest. Be honest. Think of what is going to really affect the education system. So, what has happened in the past? I've got 8 cases that I just quickly wrote down here, but there are more cases than I can mention, because a lot of the cases did not go all the way to the court. But these cases that I'm going to mention that went to the High Court, many of them went to the Constitutional Court. Rivonia case, Hoërskool Ermelo case, Welkom High School case. Grey College SGB case went to the appeal court, not the constitutional court. Vogwel High School, which is also close by here, went to the High Court. Wilvervale High School, which is in Vereniging, very close by here, went to the High Court. Middelburg Primary School went to the appeal court. Micro Primary School went to the appeal court. What happened in all those cases? In all those cases, Mr. Ndlebe, where is Mr. Ndlebe sitting? The head of department or the MEC did not consult. They did not consult with the school governing body, even though there are provisions in the Schools Act as it now stands that the head of department must consult. For instance, if the powers of the governing body is removed, the head of department was supposed to consult, and they did not consult. They just abused state power and made a decision on their own, and then the matter had to go to court. So it's very expensive for schools to go to court. BELA bill as it is now does not recognize the partnership that is proposed in the preamble of the Schools Act. There's a partnership between the state, the schools, and the parents. But that is ignored because the school governing body's powers are just taken away like this. It amounts to centralization, as the first speaker said. It ignores our country's history. The previous speaker, just before me, referred to 1976, which was about language policy. What happened there? The state, the National Party at that stage, unilaterally decided that all black schools must teach Afrikaans as well. And that caused the Soweto riots. The learners did not want to learn Afrikaans then. Now, what's different now? What's different now? If the head of department now, if this BELA bill is accepted as it is now, if the head of department says, this school, all the learners must learn in English. It's exactly the same as what happened in Soweto in 1976, the riots and the protests all over the country, because the state unilaterally then changes the language policy. I was hoping we were past that, that we can live together and negotiate and accommodate each other. There are about 900,000 Afrikaans learners in our country. 900,000. Are we really going to say, are we going to allow with this BELA bill that the head of a department can just say 400,000 of those Afrikaans learners may not learn in Afrikaans anymore? Is that really the best for the education system? I say that is really a step backwards. The implications of this, there are financial implications for the education department, and there are implications for all parents and learners. What I predict what is going to happen is if the head of department can change language policies or admission policies according to his own whim, parents are going to remove their children from public schools. They are either going to go to independent schools or to homeschooling. Many of the churches will start up schools again because that's our history. Our country's history is before the state provided education, the churches provided education. In the colonial system, in the missionary schools, the churches provided education. We can go back to that. And many of the public schools, which now accommodate all the learners, are going to have reduced numbers, and the learners are going to go to private schools or homeschooling. The best language for us all, for all our children is, I don't say English, I say home language. Home language is the best language. How many schools in South Africa is teaching home language? Mr. Ndlebe? The schools in Marikana, that are Setswana schools, they don't teach in Setswana. They teach Setswana until grade 3, and then they switch to English. It's not the home language. How much do parents contribute to the education purse in South Africa by means of school fees? Do you know? Have you got that number, that amount? A conservative estimate of the quintile 4 and 5 schools, if there are 500 learners in each school on average, there are about 2,000 quintile 4 and 5 schools. There are actually more, and parents pay on average of 12,000 rand a month. 12,000 rand a year. That means 1,000 rand a month. That's not even, it's not even where it is at. It's much more than that. It's 12 billion rand per year. 12 billion rand per year that parents can remove if they don't want to pay any more school fees. What is going to be the effect on schools? The schools are going to deteriorate. They're not going to be able to appoint school governing body educators. They are not going to maintain schools. It's going to be a terrible effect if we don't have the school fees anymore.